If you rep my city, holla Duval. Let's go. The Jaguars just beat the Indianapolis Colts 30-10, and we are now 8-4 on the season. And it's kind of a big win just because it doesn't necessarily clinch anything, but one thing it does clinch is that we will not have a losing season this year for the first time since 2010. So it's going to at least break that ugly streak. But we sweep the Colts this year. We pretty much manhandled the Colts this year. I mean, none of the games were even close. I mean, this game, never in this game did I ever feel like this game was in doubt. I mean, we controlled this game from the first quarter through the fourth quarter, pretty much dominating all aspects of the ball. The main storyline was our passing game. Our passing game was exceptional. You know, you had Blake Bortles. Blake Bortles played an outstanding game. It was probably one of the more accurate games I've ever seen him throw. He threw for 26 for 35 with a 74% completion percentage, which is a very, very rare stat coming from him. He had 39 yards passing and 2 touchdown passes, 0 interceptions. So he has become quite the Colt killer. It seems like every time he plays the Colts, he pretty much dominates them. I think the last 4 or 5 games, he's 10 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and he takes care of the Colts, which is awesome. And you know, we got a much needed victory. We move on to 8-4. Unfortunately, we are still tied for first place in the NFC South after the Tennessee Titans let the Houston Texans hang around in there before Tom Savage threw another Tom Savage-esque interception. So, you know, nevertheless, we are still right in the playoff mix, top of the wild card spot. And this game was outstanding. And we talk about our passing game. Our receivers all played great games. Usually in the past they have a lot of drop balls, but today they were able to bring them in. We had 4 different guys over 40 yards receiving, with Lee having 7 receptions for 76 yards, Westbrook 6 receptions for 78 yards, Cole 3 receptions 49 yards, and Mercedes Lewis 4 for 45. So yeah, our passing game, it was really dominating, and this is, it's really encouraging to see it out of that unit, just because it is probably our weakest unit on the team. I can probably say that with conviction that it is. But today we played really, really well, and it was really good to see. On the defensive side of the ball, we didn't have Telvin Smith, but it didn't really matter. Our defense dominated, and I thought our linebackers played really well. Miles Jack, I thought, played really well, and especially Paul Posluszny. Paul Posluszny was all over the field. He had 10 solo tackles. He had at least, I think he had 1.5 sacks, and it was an outstanding game by Paul Posluszny. It just seemed like he was all over the field, and we added on the sack total by getting 4 sacks. We're the most sacks in the league. It sits here in Saxonville. So Calais Campbell, he broke a franchise record, Tony Bracken's record in sacks. So Calais Campbell's putting on a really good year, and our defense really did not miss a beat without Telvin Smith. So it was just an awesome game to see. Man, the Jaguars, it's been a great year so far. When we go to the run game, Leonard Fournette, he had kind of an average game. He was 20 carries for 57 yards, 1 touchdown, but I do think that he was pretty effective in there. It was definitely a better game for him this week than last week, just since he looked so gimpy last week. You saw him kind of hurtle off the field with an ankle kind of thing, but he did come back in. So last week was his first full week of practicing, so hopefully the ankle isn't aggravated too much. It was good to see him come back in there, but yeah, I mean, it was just a dominating performance by the Jaguars. Like I said earlier, this game was never in question. 4 sacks, 2 interceptions. They just couldn't get really anything going. I mean, they had that 1 touchdown pass to T.Y. Hilton that went for pretty long, but yeah, our defense, they were just able to stop them, and just an encouraging game overall. Next week is a huge game as we play the Seattle Seahawks at home, 4:30 kickoff, and we are bringing back the teal uniform. So I think it's going to be an absolutely electric environment. Seahawks are going to be a really fun team to play against. I love playing NFC teams just because we only get to see them once every 4 years. So it's really exciting. Seattle only comes to Everbank once every 8 years. So it'll be really fun to see like how we match up against them and how like well we may be able to do. But yeah, just an overall fun game to watch for the Jaguars. Bortles had a great game. Marquise Lee, Keelan Cole played really well. You also had, guys on the defense like Puzzlesny. Yannick Ngakoue was getting a lot of pressure. Campbell, of course. Ramsey had an interception. Tashawn Gibson an interception. And, it was just, a dominating performance by the Jaguars. It wasn't a stressful game to watch as I felt pretty comfortable the whole entire game. Good game by the Jaguars. And that's pretty much all I got. This is UC at Jaguar with your boys from GenJag.com. And we out. Go Jags, baby.